Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Prime Tennis YouTube. We are back here today with another video. Today we'll be looking at Rafael Nadal, a practice that he had with Tommy Paul. This was a while ago, but it's still good to learn from the retired greats. And today in this video, we're just gonna look at looseness. With your arm, it helps to generate power, and we'll be looking at that today. It's always really nice to watch Nadal play. Personally, is one of my favorite players. He has such a great mentality, work ethic. It's very inspiring. You should read his book. It's very good. But here you can just I like watching this video a lot because it just shows very well how loose he actually is. He kind of has a very unique forehand, but one thing that he does very well more than a lot of other players is his looseness, and that's why he's known for his RPMs, right? How fast he hits the ball, how hard he hits the ball, how much spin it has, and that's from the looseness. It's like a whip, kind of, the way he hits. So when you whip the ball like that, it generates a lot more power than if you were to just hit it like very stiff. Like you'll see the way his racket is in the follow through, how loose that is, the way it just kind of wraps around his body like a rope. Like that's incredible. And that's what you want to aim for. The looseness, it comes in the entire arm. The shoulder has to be loose, the elbow has to be loose, and especially the wrist. The wrist is where you see, if I could slow it down, that would be nice. But you'll see, maybe if I can pause it there, you'll see his racket like lag here, right here, and the racket will get thrown back and the wrist will bend and then it'll snap back. You can't do that if your wrist is stiff, right? So that looseness allows the wrist to, bend and snap back kind of like a rubber band, and that's what generates all of that power and all of that spin. If you watch Patrick, Serena's coach, former coach, you'll watch him and you'll see that he talks a lot about, I've seen in many of his videos, how he talks about how to generate power. And he always talks about looseness. Stepping into the court is one thing, and then looseness with the arms. Because that whip effect, it's everything. You cannot be stiff. It'll cause injuries, strain on your body, and it will be hard for you to generate power when you're stiff. The ball will feel heavy. I know that from personal experience. The ball will feel heavy when you hit the ball with less stiff arm. And it's not just on the forehand either. The backhand, the serve, overheads, maybe volleys, I'm not so sure, because it's a very fast ball and you want to be firm. But every other shot, you want to be loose and you want to be smooth, and it takes a bit of getting used to, but it really makes a difference. And one thing that really helps is that also Patrick, I've seen him talk about a lot, is keeping your racket loose in your hand. Hold it. You can practice holding it as if the racket could slip out. Like someone should be able to pull the racket out of your hand, and you practice like that. That will help loosen your grip a lot. I think it takes time, to work on this, because for me personally, I know I'm still not as loose as I need to be, and it's been a struggle for me, like I when I try to do it, I feel like I make more mistakes because I'm not used to hitting this way, but it is 10 billion% worth it, because that's, how you generate more power. Like these guys, I've been to Miami Open, I've seen them play, and they crank the ball so hard, it's so heavy, and it's not just, the men's too, I've had guys who have hit with professional females, and they say, like they hit the ball just as well, so it's very important to get to the next level that you have to be able to compete with their speed and power. And this is one of the major things that all the pros do that, you have to be able to do as well. You have to add that to your game. But yeah, this video is great. I don't know any other player that looks like this effortlessly, like loose, it's like a noodle with their arm, the way he hits it. And now that I think about it, maybe that's what allows him, or maybe that's why he does the boogie whip so much. Because, when he's swinging that fast, and, he doesn't catch the racket, he doesn't want to slow it down. So he just lets his arm go around his head, or you see here wrap around his body. But maybe when he does it more, when he hits heavier, it goes around his head as to make sure, the racket doesn't slow down trying to catch it in the follow through or something like that. I think even the best in the world makes mistakes like that. I really like these practice videos because I feel like they simplify things a lot. Tennis, the movement is simpler than when you're watching them in a match. The technique, you can see the reps, the way they practice their reps, the way they move, small little habits that you can see in their game a lot better. This is DC. I actually really like this tournament. But yeah, I'm just letting it play here, so you can see. You can watch this video by yourself too. This is the name of the video. It's very good. I've watched it multiple times when I need to like help myself envision it, or if I'm like struggling to be loose, I can watch this and practice that, kind of like mimicry, watch and learn. But yeah, this is really nice, and the ball's slower. They're not trying to beat each other, they're just rallying, and it's very good to watch and learn from these videos. So, yeah, that's it. I don't really have anything to talk about because this is something that, you have to kind of experiment with yourself. Test it out, see what works for you. Nadal has a very unique forehand, so you shouldn't copy him, word for word. But, take inspiration from the video, learn from it, apply some things that you see in your game, or that you see will help with your game, And, yeah, So hope you guys enjoyed the video. I know I'm a bit like quiet and sluggish today, feeling a little bit sick, but you know, I really hope you guys, can learn from this and that this will help you. Some of the tips I gave. So I hope you all have a great day.